Guys all for joining today. So this webinar is going to be Small Business Security 101, Google Cloud. So this is part one of a two-part series focusing on small business security. If you guys want to register for part two, we're going to be dropping that link in the chat right now. My name is Paige Sullivan, and I'm an account manager here at Worsta. And joining with me today is Pete Hoff, our VP of Cybersecurity and Risk here at Worsta.
Hey there.
So this meeting is being recorded, and all registrants will receive a link to view it later this week. We ask that you guys stay on mute just because there is a good amount of people in the room today. You guys can submit questions at any time using the Meet chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. We will be also using the pulse features, and you could see that using like the little shapes or the activities icon right on the right-hand side corner of your screen. Also, Emily is going to be dropping in our LinkedIn, so feel free to connect with Pete and I on LinkedIn. And then in case you guys didn't know already, this event is being hosted by Worsta. Our mission is to help organizations maximize their use of the cloud to compete in a modern world. We work side by side to help people make good technology decisions and grow their businesses in ways they wouldn't have the ability to do otherwise. This helps organizations develop cultures of continuous innovation powered by real-time collaboration. So with all the collaboration, however, small businesses have a lot to keep up with in terms of cloud security. So that's why we're here today and why we got our expert Pete on the call.
It's great to be here. As part one of our two-part series, today we'll focus on the fundamentals of cloud security. Today, we'll keep our conversation focused on what we've seen are the biggest security pain points for most businesses.
Yes, so we wanted to start off today by asking you guys, what are your biggest pain points? Here on the screen, we have listed the 4 biggest ones that we see when it comes to cloud security. So I'll just give a quick overview of each of the pain points and what we mean by them. So data, so consolidation, collaboration, sharing securely, encryption and compliance. Devices, so staying secure even if your company doesn't provide employees with devices and how to manage those devices. Communication, so email encryption and security, and then data loss prevention. And then infrastructure, so having a simple yet secure system in place, system maintenance, security monitoring, and then getting your system to work for you. So we just want to hear from you guys what you guys mostly struggle with when it comes to security. So Emily's going to launch a quick poll. Again, you could use that triangle icon on the bottom right-hand side. See some votes coming in. Awesome. So it looks like a lot of people are dealing with devices as one of their biggest pain points. I would say infrastructure really isn't the biggest one, as well as data. So today we'll touch on all 4 of them, but we'll make sure, just to dive a little bit deeper into devices as well. Awesome. So let's hop into a quick scenario. You're getting a hot tub installed. Woo! So we'll relate the scenario to our 4 problem points and go through the different perspectives as both a buyer and a business owner. So to start at the beginning of your hot tub journey, you're reaching out to local vendors and trying to get an estimate. You think you found a good vendor. However, it turns out the proposal they sent you is just out of date. The company doesn't have an internal cloud-based file system, so employees are accessing whatever documents they have available on their devices and unknowingly send proposals with outdated information. However, the company apologizes for their mistake and offers you the lowest price point quoted in the outdated proposal.
Sounds like a win for you, but not so much for the hot tub company. Unfortunately, I hear this quite often. And as I'm sure many of you are aware, Google Workspace is a great solution for this with the collaboration and interoperability. You've got Drive, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. In fact, a lot of our statements of work here at Worsta are created on Google Sheets or Google Slides. That way, our sales reps and engineers, they collaborate, and we are able to review for accuracy before it's sent to a client. On top of that, security is built into Google Workspace, so you can automate who views what information and how it's shared. We'll talk more about sharing data externally and internally in the communication section of our presentation today, but real quickly, I wanted to touch on another way to ensure your data protection. So collaborating on files can have its challenges when it comes to versions of files and others working together. Google Vault is a fail-safe for this. Google Vault provides versions and even deleted file recovery. Every change you make is recorded and can be identified by the user to allow you to go back to previous versions. Vault ensures data integrity and retention requirements. I should also mention that it's also admissible in court if you need to use it for e-discovery investigations. So let's say you're the hot tub vendor. Now that you've established that your documents and quotes are accurate, Google allows you to get them out to your customers in many ways. You can share them, email them, or even drop them into a chat. We always recommend sharing files with specific individuals rather than using a URL. For security reasons, I like to turn that feature off and ensure employees can only share with specific individuals for security.
Yes, and if you guys see on the slide right now, on the right-hand side, that image is just sharing documents with only Pete. And then the image on the bottom, that would be when you're sharing a link, which could just be a little bit more difficult to keep secure. Awesome. And then for devices, so as an account manager at Worsta, most of the SMB clients I work with have employees use their own devices. So to revisit our scenario on the previous slide, let's say you have a perfect employees who are always updating and using the most relevant documents and information when they're sending contracts and pricings for hot tubs. However, even if they're ensuring data integrity and accuracy, the process of downloading and updating documents on each and every device is time consuming. This will really slow down your business. So in an effort to work quickly, employees can act carelessly and unknowingly share information with wrong parties.
That's correct. And a worst case scenario, they could fall for phishing attacks. Regardless of the system or devices you're using, educating your employees on phishing attacks is one of the best security solutions you can implement at your organization. At Worsta, we recommend KnowBe4 to educate your employees and to test their ability to spot phishing. KnowBe4 allows you to phish your employees with emails that mimic real phishing emails. Mm-hmm. If your employee fails the test, it automatically enrolls them for training.
Yes, and there's also a no-cost and easy-to-use option. So Google has actually created a phishing exercise simulator for Google Workspace users. I'm just going to throw that link in the chat as well, but I highly recommend having every employee take the quiz at least once a quarter just to brush up on what the phishing attacks look like. Just make sure that they're aware that that won't happen to your organization.
Absolutely. So for device management, MDM, mobile device management, allows you to locate and wipe a lost mobile phone or laptop. Although we hope it never happens, I don't know any organization that hasn't had someone lose their phone. When this happens, the first thing you should do is wipe the device to stay secure.
Yes, so an example, I would say, so let's say an employee goes out to lunch and they forget their laptop at the restaurant. It contains sensitive information like contracts, billing information, and even client financial information that you just don't want to get in the wrong hands. It's a liability, and having the option to lock down and wipe the device remotely will save you headaches and potential legal issues. So we have a video demonstrating this exact situation from a past webinar. We don't have time, I believe, today to run through the whole link right now. So Emily will also throw that one in the chat, and I highly recommend just watching it right after this or later today when you have time.
Yeah, very useful information.
Yes. Awesome. So continuing on to communication, our scenario. You got a great price and you're communicating with the main office about timeline and finalizing your contract. Then later in the week, you receive an email from a personal Gmail asking for you to sign a document that looks as if it could be your contract. And they ask you for payment information. It seems legitimate, but why is a personal Gmail coming from a personal Gmail instead of a hot tub company's domain?
Yeah, I'll be the first to say no. Don't send any business or financial information to a personal Gmail account. I'm suspicious of emails from personal email accounts that are business related anyway. It could be a phishing attempt. I generally look at the email address to see if it's from an actual business or from, some other domain that's not business related. In my opinion, the best domain, the business domain creates the identity for the business. That is your identity. Google does a great job of managing the business domain and makes it easy to protect all things internet associated with your domain name. Your email address is the first thing the customer sees with that domain. So as for email and communications, Google's built a platform for sending and receiving information with your customers securely. Secure communications is really easy. You can send secure documents and contracts to your customers knowing they're encrypted within the transmission. Google always ensures the highest level of encryption with TLS, or transmission level security. Gmail by default also protects your organization from malware and malicious links in emails as well. Attachments are scanned for malware and malicious scripts. Links and external images are also assessed for malware and display warnings when you click on an untrusted domain. These are all good things that would be difficult for an organization to manage if they bought all of these security products and systems themselves. Instead, it's all built into Google's system.
Yes, and as a Google admin, you can control incoming emails your employees receive. So you can actually block specific senders using a deny list and bypass spam filters with an allow list or an approved senders list. So in an email allow list, so it's just a list of IP addresses you define as approved to send mail to your domain. So an example of this would just be like a partner or a vendor that you guys work regularly with. An email deny list, kind of the opposite of that. So a list of email addresses you block from sending mail to your organization or domain. So it could be like a competitor or just something that you've had like a bad experience with in the past. And then the approved senders list. So an approved senders are trusted users that send emails to your organization. So you can create an address list of approved senders. So messages from these users just bypass the Gmail spam filter. And then you can create the list with individual email addresses or just by adding the entire domain itself.
All good stuff. So really quick, I'd like to talk about the benefits of moving to the cloud. There are cost and technology benefits, but most of all, usability. I've worked with many companies over the years providing security services. My experience is that most businesses struggle with maintaining security while providing support for their users and systems. Squeezing in software and security patches, upgrading systems, monitoring security 24/7 just doesn't get it done. Google helps you focus on your business and ensures that security maintenance, monitoring 24/7, and even enforcing security policies is easy to maintain, not just in your email and file storage, but also on your users' computers and mobile devices. We believe that using Google's solutions allows you to focus on your business and your customers and allows you to stick to what you do best. Some of the benefits are resilience. The system's uptime is 99.9%, and that's published on Google's sites. Cost, it is cheaper than buying all the hardware and systems and networking and all the things that come along with hosting your own systems. And it's ease of use and management. The back-end interface is very simple to use.
Yes, and using the cloud just helps in so many ways. So like collaboration, data integrity, security, device management, infrastructure management, and more. I know it could kind of sound very overwhelming at first, but that's why we're here. We're here to help you guys out.
Absolutely, we can help you out.
And then we also have an extensive list of services and trainings and offerings that we can help you with all the different pain points that we talked about today. So we'll be in touch, soon after today's call, just to help provide you guys with the resources to get started.
You'll see a lot of these overlap a little bit on this slide, especially training and education. We've got a variety of resources available, and our team is always on top of the Google product updates and latest technologies.
Yes, so before we get into questions, like I mentioned earlier, this is part one of a two-part series. Part two will be on Tuesday, April 12th. And then we also have our past webinars available at our resource page and YouTube channel. And then Emily will link all those in the chat as well. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we're here to help you guys. We're here to make sure that you guys are getting the best use out of Google Cloud, just to make sure you guys are staying secure. So your Worcester rep will be reaching out to schedule a quick call just to go over these details and to debrief from today's webinar. And then Emily's going to throw in another link in the chat, and we would just love to hear your guys' feedback. So you'll receive that as well as a follow-up email and a short survey to tell us how today went. And I will now open it up to questions. I know everyone said that they had devices was one of their biggest pain points. So any questions that you guys have, devices or data communication or infrastructure, I know we would love to help answer them. Trying to pull up the chat here. Yes, I know a lot of my customers that love the phishing exercise. They find it very helpful.
Yeah, which item on the survey was the top item? Was it devices?
Yes.
Yeah, I know nobody's asking questions right now, but from a device management perspective, the capability to take any device, whether it's iOS, Apple, Android, and remotely wipe it and enforce even just a passcode. Some people are really not into security, and this makes it easy for an organization to make sure that the device doesn't get compromised. Most companies also, it takes some technical background to be able to do that as well. So the system is not hard to use. We provide services as well to be able to manage those endpoint devices. To take it a little further, if you wanted to manage things like laptops, Windows systems, for example, Windows 10, we can completely manage almost everything within that platform, from their screensavers to lockouts to local encryption, enabling BitLocker or any other things on the Windows boxes. On the Mac side, we don't have quite as much control, but we can enforce policies, enforce security around the login sessions. Mobile devices, we have great control over. If somebody's jailbroken their mobile devices, we have the capability to do that as to block a jailbroken device, which may actually have rootkits or all kinds of other security issues. So all those are good things.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any other questions. If you guys think of anything between now and then, I know your account manager is going to reach out, but feel free to reach out to us as well, and we would love to help out.